Is it somebody right on my call? This is the moment you're meant to know.
Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Now, I did not think I was going to have to be coming back a month later to be talking about this yet again, but it seems like the drama within Katseye is continuing. Meow, right? So, the girls are fighting. No, I'm kidding. But no, it seems like Manon might be because allegedly fans are pretty convinced at this point after Coachella weekend. Yes, Coachella, where Cat's Eye made their debut on the Coachella stage. They dubbed it Coachella. So because of that, at Coachella this year, guess who was not there? Manon. Yet she still has a contract with Hype X Gavin. Now that's apparently a thing. When did they change their name? But I digress. But yes, and she says that she's still in terms, in good standing, in positive conditions, however you want to phrase it, word it, with the team and with Cat's Eye themselves. I even checked. They still follow each other. Nobody has unfollowed nobody. However, she has allegedly, I'm not quite sure how true it is, removed Cat's Eye from her bio. And fans are speculating, well, why would you do that if you haven't left Cat's Eye? And then other fans are saying, well, maybe she's on a break. And because she's on a break, maybe for her mental health to disassociate from Cat's Eye, to maybe delete that. I don't know. I'm just trying to speculate the different sides of stories of how people are fighting over the internet. And honestly, guys, I'm not going to lie. I did question it myself because I just happened to check Manon's Instagram page this day, the day I followed her, and she just happened to post this. And at first I was like, okay, why are we thanking 6 million people for following you? Like, you're so grateful that people are following you and giving you love. Why would you need that if you're still parts of Cat's Eye? You know people love you, but okay. So because of that, people are speculating that this was posted on the day of Coachella, shortly after they made their debut, and that was Manon's way of getting back at Cat's Eye, saying, well, thank you guys for giving me love and support while Cat's Eye is debuting without me. So that was the kind of vibe that like people were kind of picking up. And I'm not going to lie, I did think it was a bit suspicious. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that was a bit weird. But anyway, I'm fully invested in this, and I have officially followed Manon on Instagram. For real. Despite the direction that Cat's Eye is going. But they keep this up. If they're going to keep this up, I don't care if that Laura Raj is like an Indian. That's not my representation. And they have like one colored girl on there. It was supposed to be all inclusive and representative, and you know how sensitive the Black community is. So I feel like the fact that this is all going on is just not a good look for Cat's Eye. And if Manon really leaves during all of this, I just feel like it proves the fact that the Cat's Eye all inclusion, it was never inclusion, because let's be real, Indians are Asian. So because of that, Manon is truly the only minority in the group. So because of that, so she took her hiatus on February 20th, and she's still on hiatus as of April the 13th. So that's almost 2 months that she has been on hiatus. Yikes. I didn't realize it's been that long, guys. So because of that, she has been on hiatus for almost 2 months. Cat's Eye has made their Pinkies Up debut. I'm not even going to do that stupid choreo. But they have made their comeback with Pinky Up. And that also has hate around it too. So I'm just sorry for Cat's Eye. It seems like since gnarly. They've just gone downhill, and fans are very disappointed that Hybe, who manages BTS, remember, is doing them dirty, and also manages what, LS Firm, but we remember there was some whole drama over there, so we're not going to talk about that. Hybe has a whole lot going underneath, whole lot going on under their belt right now. So because of that, I don't think they are truly focused on Katseye. But let me run it down with you guys about how I think I've came to the conclusion that yes, this is probably racially baited, but two, I think I know exactly the vision now that I've heard what fans are feeling on the internet about Katseye. And this is what I've been hearing since Manon has been on hiatus for the last 2 months, but for me, it's been the last month. So one thing is that fans are convinced that Katseye is walking billboards, that they're just a bunch of beautiful women just to sell products. And they honestly do it well. So because of that, Katseye is just a walking billboard selling products. Yeah, they sing, yeah, they dance, but they're marketed and have a specific niche. So because of that, their choreography and their music can be subpar, but as long as they have the personality, they can sell a product and keep the fan base coming back and buying Katseye products. Not to mention that this collaboration with Coachella this year was also with K-pop Demon Hunters, which was a huge thing last year, if you guys do not remember, and it's getting a second movie season. So because of that, Manon is seemingly missing during all of this. Isn't that weird? Like how that, like this would have been in production. She's only been on hiatus for 2 months. Are you guys telling me that you just started doing these things within the last 2 months and maybe not within the last 6 months? I'm just saying it's a bit suspicious. That's why fans are a bit convinced right now after Pinky Up that Manon is out of the group. But I think that yes, Katseye is walking billboards because Manon literally got her start up from the beginning. Not trying to bring up any hate from here, but let's be real. She was known as an influencer and what? A model. So Manon was an Instagram model. So because of that, what did she get? A place in Katseye. And what did I say Katseye was? A bunch of beautiful women that can sell products. A model. So because of that, she fit the mold. The what outside, like I said, outside of the glitz, the glamour, the music and the dancing was really just to captivate the female audience. The real producers behind, they saw a vision for Katseye, and that was like, we are going to market to everybody internationally. That's it. That's all they want to do. They just want to market internationally. That's where it stops. So because of that, I'm convinced that Manon has realized the direction and that she was used. Because let's be real, if you guys don't know, she has been in the back in the dances, because I get it's an uneven group. So when it's an uneven number of girls in a group, one member is going to get covered up in the dances. But it just always happened to be Manon that got covered up. I'm just saying, it always happened to be, and she was always in the back, and it was like never her in the front. So because of that, even in Gnarly, she didn't get much screen time anyway. A whole lot of other ones got some. So we see the mistreatment. We see the weird distribution. You can argue, you can fight. That's just the way the K-pop industry works. But you got to start questioning when it starts stacking up. And then finally, she decides to dip from the group. Unofficially, of course. However, some also things that fans feel as though about Katseye is the fact that Manon was allegedly given the lazy accusation. And if you guys still remember, Jennie from Blackpink has gotten those same accusations and same pretty privilege accusations as well. So we see the trend here and all this hate and mislabeling. Did Hybe X Gavin do anything? No, of course not. So because of that, her mental health could have deteriorated. Nobody else was honestly getting that hate. I'm not going to lie with you guys. But then the hate started to change. And then as soon as the hate started to change is as soon as she's left the group. So you guys tell me if that's a bit suspicious. It's like once the attitude started changing, and then I could have remembered there was a short period of time where Manon had a beef literally with somebody in the group, and it was visible and fans were speculating. And I think somebody actually asked me about that, but I didn't do a reading into it. So because of that, it's been brewing and simmering underneath. The more you start looking at the details and the more you start looking and picking at it, and you start realizing, wait a minute, I think Manon really was mistreated and she accepted, she took it as long as she could. Katseye, Dream Academy specifically ran from September 1st to November 17th of 2023. And then November 18th, the next day, she posted on her Instagram that she was officially a member of Katseye. But Katseye didn't officially debut until like a whole 6 months later on June 28th, 2024 with their song Debut, which I had a beef with that title anyway. So because of that, we see the lazily marketing that Hybe is doing with Katseye, not Manon being lazy. It's Hybe being lazy. But I have my own beefs with Hybe and the way they've been running things lately with their groups. So, and I'm sad to see that Katseye is fallen victim to the Hybe curse at this time. I'm saying it. It's a curse to be at Hybe. Every time you get into the big three, it's like something knocks them down for being a part of the big three. I said Hybe should replace YG. I take it back. YG, take your spot. I'll take the YG mistreatment over Hybe mistreatment at this point. So because of that, I am just spewing my K-pop hate also with the whole industry while I'm talking about Manon now that I'm getting heated about it. Just looking at just how it was so blatant in our faces, and it took us almost 2 years, really 3, a year behind the scenes. So it took about 3 years for Manon to finally said, I have enough, and said, I need to take a break for myself. So I just want to pull some cards to see, and pull some cards as my anger should be rightfully justified. I'm going to pull some cards on Manon to see how does she feel about her how does she feel about her treatment in Katseye. Does she feel as though she's been mistreated, that she was subjugated to racism still? But hey, you're modeled after the Korean model, and we know that they can be a bit, at least the older generation. The newer generation's getting there, but still, Korea is pretty Korea. So because of that, it's hard to try to fix that even, and you're run by a Korean company. So if they do a little bit mistreatment, it's the culture. So because of that, I hate for her to be another statistic to fall under, even though they're trying to be a marketable, global, international group, they still fall prey to the K-pop standards, and I hate that. So Manon, how do you feel about your treatment in Katseye? Well, we have the Knight of Cups. Whew, I feel like I have been venting to you guys. I am so sorry. I feel super calm now. So we have here the Knight of Cups, which is interesting. I'm just going to pull a block card because something is coming to block this message. The Hierophant. The bottom, we have the Two of Wands. We have the Sun card. The King of Pentacles. And the Nine of Wands. Ooh, interesting, guys. Interesting. So what do I see here? I'm just going to take it as a full snapshot of just her overall overarching 3 years of how it's been, because the Sun card actually, you know what? The Sun card doesn't always have to symbolize beautiful daisies, colorful, yes, sunflowers, but it doesn't always have to be beautiful and rose-colored glasses. The Sun can also expose a lot of things, and that's exactly what Manon did in the past 2 months, let's say, in her recent past that she did. She exposed Hybe for who they truly are by taking her hiatus, her indefinite hiatus. So because of that, now that she's on an indefinite hiatus, we have here her, the Knight of Cups. Somebody who is, yes, emotional, but is also on a journey to deliver a message, a journey, whatever it is. Maybe Katseye was like a stepping stone for her. Maybe that was just like a notch underneath her belt. Maybe that was something she wanted to see if she could do. Like she said, like her profiles pretty much said she was an influencer, and that's exactly what Katseye turned out to be. So the fact that she, just when they were reaching their influencer peak, she just happens to leave. And that makes you wonder and question what it is about Manon that has finally changed within inside of herself to realize that this isn't the life that she allegedly wants to sign herself to. And why do I say that? Because the block card on this messenger is the Hierophant, which is all about traditions, which is all about being conformative and sometimes having to shun away parts of yourself just to blend in, to fit in, to conform. So because of that, that's what Manon felt like she always had to do. We know in Korea, I'm not sure if she has complained about struggles of doing her hair as a Black woman in Korea, or just with just their staffers. But I think Manon is pretty much doing her own hair or going to a salon to get her own hair done, unlike the other artists. So because of that, even Laura Raj gets a pass because she's got that silky hair. So honestly, it's like Manon is just an outcast in every sense of the witch. So it's because of that, like I said, she can't even blend in like Laura. So because of that, it's like I still can identify with the next darkest skinned woman in the group with me. So like that's like an isolation within an isolation for herself. And we see here with the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, weirdly paired with the Knight of Cups, is giving me adventure territory, like looking out to see what's next. And because this is in her present moment, I can only come to the conclusion that Manon herself has decided to see what greener pastures are before her, to see what is beyond the gates and what rivers and lakes that she is not used to go test and see what she can get her hands into, or just what's out there for her. Now that she's been a part of Katseye, now that everybody knows who Manon is, now the doors have been opened up to her, and it's not like she ended off on bad terms, right? So because of that, next employers are just going to see it as a what do you call it? A mutual deciding to leave. So because of that, it's like her future is set for her moving forward. It's like she plotted and thought this, and like really gave this some energy before fully committing to it. I'm not sure how long she's been talking about it. I'm not sure how long she's been doing it. Fans feel as though members of Katseye are not crying or sad about it, and they're just like moving on, like Manon was just like a non-factor anyway. So because of all those different things, some fans are saying, well, they got to still continue and promote. They can't cry and weep because Manon's on hiatus. They got to keep the show going. So it's like all those different things of professionalism, best friends, family, love. Is just like what's going on, and who is the Katseye that we used to love. So it's like everybody is starting to question, and I hate that the ladies happen to be the fallout of it, but it's all about Manon in this point, and she has to look at, does she want to continue conforming and fulfilling her contracts despite how she feels? And then that becomes a moral thing. Does she cross her morals and her inner contracts, boundaries that she has within inside of herself just to conform to the outer world? So because of that, that's all those things that she is conflicted with and confronted with when it comes to Katseye, and that's possibly why she needed a break. But because she needed a break, and I said it in my last reading, just the fact that it was the Black girl that left the group, it was going to set all hell loose. So her taking a break and finally willing to, despite what it's going to look like, despite the exposure and the highlight and the scrutiny that is going to put Katseye under until she gets her, I don't almost said her booty back into the group, but like that's basically how it feels. It's just like It's like she knows that as long as she stays outside the group, it's as long as people are going to keep talking about her, standing up for her, defending her, and giving her and sending her love. So because of that, she feels supported and surrounded at this time by everybody, that the decision that she is making as the King of Pentacles is right within inside of herself, that people see that whatever she was probably feeling, she could have been feeling gaslit, guys, that everything that was going on was in her head and that she was just making it up and that she was trying to find and seek racism. But it could have been all things going on for many fans to start following her, for her following count to go up within 2 months. This is like, wow, thank you guys for loving me, supporting me, seeing my value, seeing my worth, seeing me not just as another member of Katseye, but you saw me as who I am, Manon, and you love me enough to still support me outside of Katseye. That, you know, it's that thing. It's like, yes, I'm Katseye, but individuals make up Katseye, and sometimes we lose sight of that when it comes to girl groups or just groups in general. One person might get a little bit more highlighted while somebody gets completely obscured, and Manon just happened to sadly be the one that gets completely obscured, and she's glad to see that the black sheep, literally and metaphorically, was not unnoticed. So because of that, she is feeling fruitful at this time, as the Sun and the King of Pentacles symbolizes. And we see here moving forward is the Nine of Wands, which is doubling down, standing her boundaries, for real, saying that the treatment and how she feels within inside of herself. Forget about what everybody else says. Forget about what the internet says. Forget how the company says it. Forget how all these people that I love and made friends with in Katseye, are these people really my friends if they're willing to allow this treatment to keep going and not even stand up for me? Especially if they maybe made some like secret vow that we're going to be like this secret girlhood and it's going to be Katseye forever, and then you just don't stand up for that and you stay silent and all those different things. So because of that, she felt like it was like a one-woman show on there when they were supposed to be a team. So because of that, it was like, if I'm going to stand on my own, then I might as well stand on my own. Literally, I'm already alone already. So with or without Katseye, I'm already myself. So let me just be myself outside of Katseye, kind of thing. So it's like kind of not like sticking it to the man, but it's like standing her ground, is saying that how you guys been treating me for the last few years, I've clocked it and I'm no longer going to take it, because now it's starting to have some moral inner conflict with inside of myself, and now I got to check myself. So because of that, I feel like that's why she's like, I'm okay, guys. This is what they probably mean by a health. She's taking time out for her health, her mental health, maybe not her physical health. So because of that, let's just pull some cards to see how Manon is feeling since Katseye has debuted at Coachella without her. A messenger, just like she is. Well, I definitely see that it is communication going on. She definitely is not going like mute and silent. Messenger, the Knight of Cups, she is definitely still in communication with Katseye. I definitely do see that. That's good to know that it's not all just a front, that they're following each other just to save face, but they truly are still in communication with each other, however positive it may be. As she says, I'm not sure if that's just to calm us fans down, but we're just going to keep getting louder and louder until she gets back into the group, or until she says she has left the group. So honestly, leaving us in this limbo period is just, it's doing nothing but hurting everybody in this situation, Manon. Not that I'm trying to throw some hate at her. She got to look out for herself. And I really respect that, despite what this was going to look like for Katseye. And I want to know, does she have hate towards the group? I got deep waters, and yikes. Does Manon hate Katseye? Well, that's a very deep question to ask. The rivers run, it's not even a river at that point, it's an ocean. It's so deep that I can't even see how deep her feelings go for Katseye. So it's like it's got layers, and maybe somewhere deep, super deep, down deep, she really does have a sort of resentment for Katseye, and it's not for the ladies. It's for the treatment of the company. That's where it really comes from. So you know how when you're in that situation, that could have been why she stayed and stuck it out for so long. You know how when you love think about it as a work situation. You're at a job, but you extremely hate your boss so much that you don't even want to come to work. And you're like, if it wasn't for my coworkers, I wouldn't even be working here. If it wasn't for me being friends with you, Susie, with you, Bobby, with you, Ricky, with you, Suzanne, I don't know, just if it wasn't for being friends with you, I would literally hate my job so much that I wouldn't even come here. I would probably just quit. That's how Manon was feeling. She was like, I hate Hype X Gavin so much for what they're doing to me. I hate that I'm in Katseye, but I love that I'm in Katseye because I formed these beautiful bonds with these beautiful ladies. That's why I'm still messaging them. That's why I'm the Knight of Cups. I don't have any hate for Katseye. That's why the waters run deep. It's just like the way I'm feeling now is just mixed up because there's so many other players, so many other factors that has me all wound up, all bound up, all tied up, all confused. I need to go and get myself straight because these deep waters is going to start affecting her and in the way that she's feeling, that she might start acting out, or that she might really start really hating the girls and being rude and disrespectful, and they don't deserve that, and she knows that she doesn't deserve that, so that's why she has to check herself before she wrecks thyself. So because of that, we see, and that's exactly why we see here moving in the future is the Nine of Wands. Now I want to know, since I talked about Katseye, how does Manon feel about Hype X Gavin? We see a rest, and you're just like, wow, that sounds really peaceful, right? Because you're at peace when you're asleep. No, you can. What I see here down at the very bottom is a rebirth, a renewal, which symbolizes the fact that what once was is no longer going to be. I took a stance and I am resting in where I am putting my feet down. That's how I feel like Manon is at this very point. And she's having some inner peace with it about standing up to Hive and taking some time out for herself to sort out her feelings before fully making a decision. She would have hastily decided to leave the group. And like she said, and like Katseye said, I truly believe it, that they really did take some time to talk this out, to think this out before Manon left. They were probably like, are you really sure? Do you really want to do this? Like, you know, you love us, but then you also got to think about it. When you're in that head trippy space, it's like, are you guys just manipulating to keep me in the group so that way I won't pop off the lid and expose the mistreatment that's going on behind here that none of you guys want to seem to be talking about? But hey, you know what? Before me speculating, let me ask, have the ladies of Katseye been supportive of Manon over the years? I see a conversation, and what do you need to have a conversation about when everything is good? Now, I know there is such thing as healthy conversations, but when we're sitting here talking about a beef, like I said, they had long conversations. Like she said, we've had talks before coming to this decision, and we all agreed that it was mutually great or a good idea for Manon to take this break. So everybody concluded, yes, I think this actually might be best for you to sit this one out. The support in it, right? So you got to think about it. It's just like all that going on. We got the messenger and the conversation. A messenger literally leads to a conversation, and Manon is the Knight of Cups. And like I said here with the deep waters, does she hate Katseye? And that came out as there's layers to how she feels about Katseye. And now there's a conversation. Yeah, I definitely see that there is definitely something fishy going on within Katseye, and Manon definitely had enough of it, and she took her stance because it was conflicting her inner morals, and that's what you have to be most important about in life. Are you willing to sell your soul just to be famous? She was an influencer, she was a model. Cat's Eye was perfect for the come up. And then once she realized what it was all cracked up to be, she was like, I could do this myself, and said, forget it. That's the way I'm seeing it. And that's the way the cards are portraying it, that she is standing strong within side of herself and her energy. So because of that, all I can say, the only time you can feel strong within side of yourself is when you're feeling confident that the way you're feeling is validated. So therefore, I have to say that there seems to be something a little bit fishy with the cats. So like I said, the ladies are fighting meow. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed my reading on Cat's Eye. I sure did. I didn't think it was going to get that catty, honestly. I think I've done with all my Cat's Eye references. And with that being said, I hope to see you sunflowers in the next one. Please subscribe if you have subscribed already and become a beautiful sunflower and spread all those beautiful sunflower seeds all over the beautiful earth, because A, we definitely need it. B, need it for Manon. Just like this, I always say this when the sun card comes out, just like the sun card shows and symbolizes, your sunflower seeds can land on people like Manon. And you can even say that it's like the light, the dawn, the aha moment, the light bulb clicked in her head and she finally said enough. The sun lit up and was like, you know what? She got the fire risen up in her and said, I'm ready to leave. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading on Manon from Cat's Eye. I sure did. Please subscribe if you have subscribed already. Leave your comments down below. How do you feel about this? Did you guys know that when she left that it was going to entail this? I was begging and pleading and hoping that it wouldn't get to this and that everybody would be wrong. But it's starting to seem like it's really true. And I really hate that because I really did like Manon, period, anyway. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you for reading, and leave your comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you sunflowers in the next one. But you know what I say before I leave? Hype is up. Subscribe to us. Ayy. And I'll see you sunflowers in the next one. Sunflowers.